from New York. Our guest is speaking today, and his speech is his last CC speech title. And the facilitator is Indy, and the scribe is actually no, the facilitator is David, and the scribe is Jill. Now, David, can you please read the purpose of Indy's speech?
Indy speech.
No, it's
No,
David
Dave's
Day's speech.
Yes, that's right. The purpose of my speech.
Yes.
I don't know who's supposed to read that.
David, don't worry, it's fine. It is to inspire the audience. And now with that in mind, I'm sorry, David, I just thought it'd be quicker and easier. I really do apologize. With that in mind, let's start. Let's give the last CC speech, Dave. Dave, the last CC speech.
All right, just give me 1 second. Do you remember 2 years ago when they introduced the Pathways program to all of us? What were your thoughts about? Were you thinking, what's going to be contained in this new program? What am I going to get out of it? How are our lives going to be upended by going digital? Were all these thoughts going through your mind? What was going through my mind was, at some point, I am going to give my final competent communicator. And what I didn't know then, but what I'm learning just this very minute, is that it was going to take place over a computer virtually to people in Australia. And that would have absolutely blown my mind 2 years ago. I was in 2 local New York clubs, and I thought I kind of had a general sense of what the future held for me. But I know now that nothing can be predicted. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters, and distinguished guests, I have learned more about Toastmasters in the past 3 months than I have learned in the past 3 years. There are so many things I didn't know, things that the me from 2 years ago could just have never foreseen. One, of course, was the COVID-19 pandemic, which, if you were able to predict that, please sell me a lottery ticket, because you're who I want to be with. But I realized when everything started shutting down, I remember it. It was March 12th, and I was an area director running a contest. And what I didn't know was it would be the last live Toastmasters event I would be at to the present day. And I started feeling socially isolated, socially distant. I didn't really know what to do. And people started talking about doing these online meetings. And me, who has always had a tremendous sense of wanderlust, figured, what if I could virtually visit every single US state, all 50? Why not? Nobody was talking about it. No one was doing it. And people were posting Zoom links all over their Toastmaster websites and on their Facebooks. So I figured I would give it a try. And in my mind, I would go visit the club, see all these people, explore different cultures, and never see any of them again. And that would be okay. I would go to Texas. Hey, howdy, nice cowboy hat. I'd go to Montana. How are the moose going in Big Sky Country? I would visit California and see all these lovely palm trees behind someone in the background, and ask any of them if they had been to Randy's Donuts lately. All of these colorful little anecdotes kind of percolated in my mind. And I just thought it would be fun to connect. Nothing would come of it aside from I was alone and I needed to reach out to someone. Toastmasters has always been a community I could rely on, and it would just be fun and different. And things quickly started to take on a little bit of a different dimension. I started seeing some weird content. I was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, they were doing an off-color humor Toastmaster group. I got to see a Vulgarian, someone who would count all the swear words that were used in a meeting and would introduce a naughty word of the day. I went to Oregon, and there was a group of storytellers that would inject a piece of themselves into every project. Even if it was a dry research project, they had to get personal. I went to Arizona, and there they needed a comedy club at one club I visited. And they gave the most critical evaluations I've ever seen. This was like textbook, don't ever do this in Toastmasters. Someone gave a speech, and their evaluator said, "What the hell were you thinking? You lost the audience in the first 2 minutes." And my blood froze because this wasn't anything that I was taught. And when I went to Washington, it was really interesting because there was a spiritual development group. They meet every week for 2 hours, and they focus on alternative medicine and hypnosis. And they run a 10-minute meditation session in the middle of the meeting. Just very strange content. And in New Mexico and Arizona, there were 2 advanced clubs that have completely impromptu meetings. Everything is off the cuff. You show up, you don't know what role you're going to be assigned. So I did see things I didn't expect to see. And I saw a number of best practices that were pretty interesting. Homemade table topic awards and table topic evaluators. And these things became interesting. So I started going to more and more clubs. And my addictive personality led me to finally visit all 50 states, which I meticulously documented. And it started having a little bit of a ballooning domino kind of effect, because I would go and meet all these people at meetings, and sometimes the clubs would be struggling and they would need someone they would need me to take on a role, maybe even be a speaker. But oftentimes they would need a timer, someone to fill in. I started making all these connections. I would invite people to come back to my home club so they could experience it. Hey, you showed me your club, let me show you mine. And before long, there were all these colorful guests that were showing up at my meeting. I would have to start every meeting during club business by introducing guests from 7 or 8 different states. There would be an average of 14 guests that were showing up from week to week. And then some of them started joining my club. 4 of them from California joined, 1 from Kentucky. They said, even if this doesn't last long, we love the club culture. We want to be part of the action. It was having an impact, and it was changing me too. I had a couple of opportunities come up. I was invited to participate in a district event in the Philippines as a keynote speaker. That was new to me. I met someone in New Mexico who agreed to host a workshop on impromptu speaking and help getting Toastmasters to overcome being afraid of critical evaluations. And I finally earned my ACG, not in the way I thought I would, by going to the public library and having people from my club come and see me give a 1-hour lecture, but by giving a large 40-person attended keynote address over that was hosted on Eventbrite, and that had members from all across the country attend. And then my appetite increased, and I wanted to go international. And I've now visited about 40 of those clubs overseas. Actually, I just hit 50. So it's been a whole adventure, and it's just changed the entire way I look at things. We are all Toastmasters. We are all under one umbrella. And no matter where you go, whatever culture exists, however different their values may be from yours, when you show up, you are a Toastmaster, and you are welcomed as family. And every group, with no exceptions, whether the club was a great club or not so great club, they all had that in common. They all were welcoming and made me feel appreciated in one way or another. And I now realize that initially I thought, I can't wait to get back to live meetings. Just talking over a computer is just miserable. It's not the same experience. I feel trapped in this box and I can't get out of it. But I don't see it as being such a trap at this point. I mean, yes, I do want to go back to live meetings, but what I'm noticing is a lot of clubs talking about becoming a blended club or a hybrid club. They have all these guests coming in, and they provided new insight and just resonated with the other members of the group. People are connecting in ways they never did before. I found that I've been bringing people together. I was at a meeting just today in Hawaii, and there were 8 guests, and 7 of them were in some way connected to me and my travels. One woman from Nebraska said that I came, visited her club, and when she heard I was doing the 50 states, she went out, and now she's done 40 of her own. And this is not an isolated story. All of us are connecting in wholly different ways than we ever could have imagined when the pandemic began. We're not just within our own clubs. We're being exposed to all these outside elements, and we really can't put the monkey in the box anymore, can we? I visited several clubs where they have already done these motions to hold a quorum vote to become a blended club. Sometimes they talk about having, if they're a weekly club, a live meeting one week when they can, and then a virtual meeting. Others have talked about setting up a projector and a camera and hosting the live and the virtual side by side. But one thing is for sure, when we go back, we cannot turn back time. This whole experience has wholly just changed us as a Toastmaster culture. And I think we need to embrace this change. We need to seize opportunity from the depths of misfortune. And what I'd like to impart to all of you today is a sort of call to action, not as I've said to some other clubs, to go out there, travel, make your own adventure, see as many states and countries as you can. You should do that, absolutely. But you should also welcome change and think about how you want the club to be when you finally return to normalcy. How will you deal with these guests that now want to come and speak? Sure, there's always been online clubs that have been available, undistricted clubs, and they're growing. But what about the regular clubs? Are they just going to be for people who are near you, who are geographically close? What will you do to kind of bring us together and assist in this movement? For my part, I've already agreed to go virtual to the end of this Deuce cycle at my home club in Manhasset-Port Washington, and we're already allocating funds to get the equipment to turn our church setting into a fully functional hybrid meeting. And I believe that it's important to do that to stay ahead of the curve. And however this club chooses to do it, I think we have to agree that just in the short couple of months, it has been amazing how small the world has now become to all of us, how easy it is at the touch of a button to just go anywhere and connect with Toastmasters you otherwise never would have met. I would like to see that continue. And I would like all of us today to think about that and what we're going to do with all of this. Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster.
Wow. That I would like to now invite Indy to facilitate Dave's speech. Actually, now my mistake. Jill to facilitate. Indy, are you facilitating? Yeah.
Oh, Indy's facilitating.
My mistake. I got my times confused. And Indy and Jill to describe. Dave, what would you like to work on?
So it's a little strange to ask that question after the speech rather than before it, but I guess I would say, I'm now realizing that seems to be a little backwards in my opinion, but I guess really eye contact with the camera. I find myself kind of looking all over the place, including at the little boxes during a speech. It's just so hard to focus on that dot. And maybe a little bit of enhanced movement and vocal variety.
Can we do?
I don't
can I just
really
say
have a
one
great
thing?
setup. I don't have a great setup to stand up and move around. I've only done it on a handful of speeches. It's very tough. I'm a little confined, but at least to the best of my ability within that, I would like to improve.
One more thing. I think I speak for everyone when I say this. Your speech was inspirational. And you really opened our mind to Toastmasters and different ways of looking at Toastmasters, and even the idea of having international guests, like international members. But anyway, I'll let Indies do the rest. Sorry, I had to say that.
Okay. Thank you, Shabira, for impromptu nomination. I wasn't sure I was doing it. My fault. It could be my fault. So, look, thank you,
Oh,
David.
sorry, my mistake. I'm David. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
David, are you willing to facilitate? Sorry, Indy.
No, I can do that. That's okay.
I
If
think
David
he's
is not.
gone.
Yeah, that's okay. I can do that. That's fine. David, first of all, thank you so much for giving us the insightful journey during the COVID. We all are handling COVID differently. And the sheer initiative that you have shown to visit the rest of the US states clubs is remarkable. Learning from others and visiting and making an effort to go up there. I know it must have been very difficult on your personal time. Making that journey is just extraordinary from all of our perspectives. So thank you for sharing those experiences with us. So I would like to open the floor to rest of our colleagues to share their learnings. What would you like Dave to comment on, or area that you would want David to focus on going forward?
David, you mentioned that Zoom was your thing about looking at Zoom.
Yes.
The idea is to look at yourself, because that's a selfie thing. Just try to look at yourself and see how you feel about the eye contact. Because if you look at yourself, that's how you make good eye contact with the camera. Look at the camera, like look at the top, and David, like taking a selfie.
Okay.
There's actually a video about this. I'm trying to find like a parody video. Just try to find it.
Okay. Thank you, Shabira, for the tip. Any others who would like to contribute for Dave? Please, Pushpa, go ahead.
Thank you, Indy. May I first of all begin by commending Dave on a truly inspiring speech that is both topical, so relevant, about welcoming change. When COVID-19 hit us and we were asked to change our lifestyles completely, I think there were many people who actually fell off the train. They really could not understand how one could do this. But 3 months later, we are recognizing that yes, we can still do it. And that's what Dave was actually, the premise of his speech today was exactly that. We can do it by welcoming change. I liked the way he began with questions. It's always the perfect way to hook an audience, is ask questions. And that grabs everybody's attention because you're actually looking for answers, scrambling for it mentally. And that really keeps you focused on the speaker. The second thing that I liked about Dave's speech was his conversational style of communication. If you could predict COVID-19, he said, please sell me your lottery ticket. There was both the humor and the conversation. He's almost reaching out to us. Conversational styles, again, are very appealing in inspirational speeches. The kind of diction that he used in places, anecdotes percolated in my mind. What a beautiful verbal metaphor of a coffee percolator. And here are thoughts percolating in somebody's mind. Absolutely wonderful. And of course, he spoke about seizing opportunity from the depths of misfortune. Now, if that does not sum up everything that he said, what would? So overall, I think the whole speech was interspersed with bits of humor, bits of very strong diction, a conversational style, altogether, all of which tied the speech, and they were all based on personal experiences. And nothing appeals to an audience more than personal valediction of a fact. So well done, Dave. And we hope we are able to get you back again as a member, or as a guest into our club, and that you again regale us with some of your wonderful speeches. Over to you, Indy.
Thank you, Pushpa. Very well said, done, and summarized it. I echo the sentiment, and we would like to continue welcoming Dave in our future meetings. You're becoming a valuable member of our group. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else would like to contribute to Dave's speech, please?
Well done, Dave, on a great speech. Very motivational and an inspirational message for us all. You're on mute, Dave. I can't hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you, David. Well,
I was just acknowledging. Thank you.
okay, thank you. Anyone would like to contribute?
I seem to be agreeing with Pushpa a lot today. I agree with Pushpa. I had the same sort of notes, lovely conversational style, lovely use of storytelling. You had us all captivated. Love the rhetorical questions that gets us thinking. You know, we can't answer you because you've got the floor. I think your eye contact was quite good, and the non-verbals, I wasn't concentrating or conscious that it wasn't good. And I think it was just so topical and current, and we can all connect with what you're saying. And as many others have said, Shavira and others, that inspiration now, maybe we start thinking about, we don't have 50 states in Australia, we've got less, but maybe we're going to start doing some virtual travelling as well. So I think it was also inspirational. So well done, it was fantastic.
Thank you, Therese. Very well said. Any areas that we want Dave to perhaps build on from what has been said before? Anything else apart from eye contact to the camera? Yes, Pushpa, please.
I think his eye contact was good, but you could make out that he was reading from something. So obviously there was some notes or something that Dave was referring to. But on the whole, I think he did maintain contact with us. It is a bit awkward to keep looking up into a little dot right there on top of the laptop or computer, but I think he did a pretty good job. Where I think Dave could have probably enhanced his speech would have been with a little more of vocal variety in his speech. That was something that I found was lacking because it seemed to be in one tone throughout. So a little bit of vocal variety would probably have given us, you know, something more. I won't say that the speech was in any way lacking because of the vocal variety. No, I think it was a very good speech, but a little more vocal variety would probably have cost probably a stronger engagement. Having said that, we were all engaged with what you were saying, Dave.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pushpa.
I think with both the eye contact and the enhanced movement, both of those you did well, given that it is such a small camera and it is very challenging that if you deliver a speech in the way that you would in an in-person meeting, for many of the cameras that we're using, you'd end up out of the field of view for big chunks of the time. So it is challenging. And one of the ways that you can compensate for the size of the camera is to step back. But when you do that, unless you have a separate microphone, you can then end up almost as though you're talking from the end of the corridor, which of course none of us would deliver a speech, I don't know, from outside the room and round the corner in a normal meeting. And that can be the effect that you give when you step back. So you do need to play to the different environment that you get with these virtual meetings. And I'd be interested to hear both what the technology that you buy for your club and how successful the mixed meetings are, because it's so difficult for all of the speakers, and I don't just mean the speech speakers, across the board, the people that have roles, managing to engage with the people who are the other side of the camera and engage with the people in the room.
Thank you, Jill. I think there are some good pointers there. We would also like to learn from you how the new technology that you're planning for your club goes for you. I almost think that this is a new norm that we are going to be working towards. there will be some key learnings from this experiment of COVID that has given us. And we can see how we can embrace those new things and build a new norm for all of us. So without any other comments, we would like to conclude our session. And over to you, Shivira.
Shaveri, on mute, and we've handed the meeting back to you.
Sorry, I thought I was off mute. Anyway, before I like to reconvene, before I end this meeting and ask for some words for the next meeting, would our guests like to give any feedback to us? Dave?
Yep, I'm right here, Shavera. Yeah, I just want to say this was another good meeting. I like that you guys just have a unique environment. I enjoy that you focus on longer speeches. I guess that's the whole keynoters. And the scribe role is just something I still have not seen at another club. It's interesting, the unlimited round robin, being able to go outside of the time parameters of the project. There's just a lot of very interesting features about this club. I almost wish it was twice a month instead of just once. But there's definitely a lot of value to it. I think it's one of those things where when the group is bigger, there's even more value because there's just so much input. And I like the way you break it down into tell us what you're looking for, and then we'll sort of evaluate you based on what we saw. I was pretty dazzled by it the first time I saw it, and I think time has not really blunted the impact of it. I just don't see this anywhere else. So not that it doesn't exist, but I haven't come across it, and it's fascinating to me. Seeing the way different advanced clubs do feedback, I think that seems to be the biggest thing about what makes an advanced club advanced, besides the fact that you have to meet the prerequisite of finishing a CC or doing 2 levels of pathways. It's really what these clubs are doing to enhance the evaluation experience. That seems to be the common nexus. And I mean, this club is just doing a lot. And I'm not sure what the history is as to how it evolved that way, but I'd be fascinated to learn because I just really enjoy this, and that's why I've recommended it to the other 2 guests who came today. So thanks, really, for hosting me for a speech, which was talked about last month. I didn't really think it would happen. So I'm glad it did. I certainly didn't think it would be my last CC speech, which is even cooler. Because what a great environment to give it in, where you can get this kind of extensive feedback experience. I'm just very impressed by all of it, and by the different levels of experience that the group brings to the table. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Now let's ask Martin, does he have any feedback for us?
I really enjoyed your meeting because it was a different way to handle that, and also all the time that you allow to the speaker. It was really good. So I think that I will be with you other time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Martin.
I learned that I must not say thank you.
Yeah, me too.
It's one of the
Hard
hardest
habit to
things.
break.
With that in mind, I would now thank you, Martin and Dave. I would now like to ask, do we have any roles for next meeting?
Or who would like to do something for the
I'll give it a jump.
will be
I can be the chair.
Chair.
Okay. Pushpa chair.
I can be a facilitator for scribe maybe for one of the speeches.
Happy to be the table topic master again, because I want to improve on my performance today.
I enjoyed your table topics, Indy.
I think there are a few areas I could have done better. So everything available?
Being human. Anyway.
Jill, I can do a speech if there is a speech slot going begging. Otherwise, you can cut me out.
Okay, let's.
When is the meeting, Jill?
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to look up.
It is on the somewhere on the 20th of July, 18th of July, I think.
18th of July?
It will be the 18th, yes.
18th of July.
Same time. And maybe not same place. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
But we can do it, like we can put a little Zoom link for our international, for our guests, maybe?
But apparently there has been a communication. Jill, have you got it? I don't know. Some another club had sent it to us that we are not meant to be meeting before August. We're supposed to go Zoom meetings. That's come from Toastmasters. Apparently.
Oh, in that case, I've not seen that, but if that's the case.
I think in one of the other clubs where I am, they sent it across to say, oh, I don't know, maybe I'm hallucinating, but I thought I had read that somewhere.
Obviously, I will have to check.
That, yeah, TI has said that, to wait till August to go back to real meetings.
Okay, well.
Although I've heard of some clubs having come back to real meetings. That also I was reading somewhere that some clubs have actually begun to convene, face to face.
My instinct is that it will vary by geography because, as we know, the incident of COVID and all the other stats vary very much by geography.
Yep.
And we are very lucky in that the incident rate, the death rate, all the other stats are lower in Australia than almost anywhere else.
Yep.
Start looking at it as percentage of the population.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
I think is way more relevant than absolute numbers.
Has the library indicated anything about when they would allow us to use the room again?
The library has said that there are no plans right now to open the meeting room. And as I've said to somebody, maybe several of you, I think while social distancing is in place, the weight room will be because I think its capacity under social distancing rules is probably 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
I've not checked or confirmed that, but that's what my gut tells me, which means that a club of our size, we could meet in the meeting room, as it's called, the larger of the 2 rooms. But there's obviously going to be more pressure on it. But right now, the library is only open for returns and couple of other stuff. So we are looking, and David, you and I need to have a chat, but we are looking for alternative meeting rooms to see what we can do, both practically, financially, logistically, and everything else. So right now, put 18th of July, 9:45 for 10 in your diaries. I think against venue, TBD is probably the best we can put at the moment.
And Jill, if there is a slot available, happy to do a speech as well.
Okay, well, I'll go and have a look. I don't know what Andrew's done. I'm just taking some notes. I have said, given that I have spoken every meeting for the last 3 months and quite possibly longer, I'm not sure, because I suddenly decided to complete my DTM, which was achieved today.
Oh, yes.
So I will now take
Congratulations!
back from speaking, unless there are spaces. I am very willing to run educationals on a whole range of things. That was part of the key, or part of one of the drivers for this club. But let's see what the agenda looks like in a couple of weeks. And then maybe I'll do an educational, maybe I'll just sit in the corner and quietly dribble. Let's see what is.
You can always advise us for some of our beginners like myself.
Well, as I've said in several emails, Anybody that wants help from me, feel free to either give me a call or that link. Now, in fairness, for certainly Martin and Craig, I'm prepared to extend. Have we lost Craig? Has he run away?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
What
went to
happened,
sleep. Craig had to go to sleep.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
Greg was nodding off. It's unfortunately almost 5 in the morning where he is.
Yeah.
Yes, not a problem. But Martin, I'm prepared to extend the offer to you. If you want assistance with anything Toastmasters related, feel free to either give me a call or, what's probably more appropriate, book a slot. I will dump it in the chat. Feel free to book a slot and I will do that. Do that for you.
And how many of us are doing the leadership training? I think that was a question.
All of us, ideally.
Yes.
Okay.
I
Having
signed up for the one on July.
Okay.
I think there was one on July 4th. I don't know which one I signed up for. Yeah.
Can
Okay,
I say
probably-
something?
Yes.
Sorry, as behalf of the I'm because being area director's daughter, I do have the and living with area director, I do have the privilege of being reminded about area director couple leadership training nearly every day.
Only once a day.
Beg your pardon?
Only once a day. I am surprised.
Oh no, because I'm not at home majority of the time, or in my room working. So
Okay, that explains
Yes.
it.
you can imagine, you as knowing my mum. Having said that, please do your area director training.
Not
Please.
area director training.
No, whatever training it is. Yeah,
Club
what is it?
officer.
Yeah.
Club officer.
Club officer training.
Leadership training.
Please. When you have the area director as your mother, you will understand the importance of it. Literally. Please do it.
But yeah,
I'm saying this as a person who has to hear about it every day.
I would like all of the executive to do it, but particularly those of you who are in a role that you have not done previously. Now, Therese, it is optional for you as a non-exec member, but
Okay.
it's open to you.
Okay, thank you. And where are the details found on that? Are they readily available?
Let me go and find. I'll put that in the chat box as well.
Thanks.
Yeah, and we would also like to welcome Teresa as well. Now she's our permanent
Yes.
member of the club. Please
Thanks, Indy.
welcome.
Thanks. One down. One. How many do I need?
For what?
I don't know. That first pathway, I think I emailed Andrew. I think there's probably lots for me to
Okay.
see if anything.
For your first level, which will be your first achievement, there are 4 speeches altogether.
Oh, okay. And then what is that called?
That's level 1 of motivational strategies. Let's have a chat offline.
Yeah, we'll do that.
We're more than happy to do that. But you're one down, certainly.
One down. Shavira, next week, I'm happy to be a scribe.
Next month, next week.
Next month?
You'll be all on your own, some. I don't know what you're describing.
Not next week, next month.
So it's next month's scribe. Jill, you putting it
Happy
down,
to
are you?
be- If you need one, I'm happy to scribe and make notes of feedback.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
David, yes, sorry.
I just realised after we left that leadership team meeting last Friday, I realised I forgot to mention something about the timing lights, but I guess we don't have to deal with that until August.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's deal with that.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I need to try and catch up with you this weekend to organise venues and that for August.
Okay. And Jill, I need to catch up with yourself for finances, so that let's get that in order.
Well, same deal, Indy. Go to that link and book a time that works for you.
Awesome. And
I'm really
because
trying to avoid ping pong of, can you do Tuesday? No, I'm busy Tuesday. Can you manage Thursday? Doesn't work.
That's actually pretty cool, actually, that you're doing that, to be honest.
yeah. So we could perhaps take a minute to just reflect on the finances. I can put up on the board, and so that everybody's on the same page. This is a financial status. So we'll have a standing agenda, like one line, Just 1 minute. This is the status, incoming, outgoing.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
And
So that,
additionally, keep a record of it, put
yes.
spreadsheet. So in July, balance, income, outgoings, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So that every meeting we just update. This is the health of the financial health of the club.
I like it. Please, but
Okay.
let's have a chat some point.
So thank you. I must go because I'm about to cook for lunch or something. So,
Now coming 1 minute.
yes.
Wait, not really coming.
Well, we
Yes.
can probably, Shavira, do you want to close the meeting? And
Yes, please. Thank you.
for a chat that can do.
Okay. I would now like to conduct this, say this meeting's closed, and we shall reconvene on the 18th of July.
But
Thank you, Shavira. Thank you, everyone,
you,
for
everyone.
giving
Thank
me
you.
your time.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And I'll leave the Zoom open, although I will stop the recording.